Oh my twow, we're already at twow 3B. I want to say that all you viewers' participation with submitting entries and voting and whatnot make me so happy. I love the enthusiasm. I remember thinking before twow started, it might not work out. Well, it looks like so far, it's working out just fine. Secondly, I accidentally cut the first 3 words off of Hazel Cricket's twow 3 response. So here's my new policy for when I input your response incorrectly, which is less than 1% of the time. If it's minor, like just a single character missing without you being warned, then I'll give you a 5% bonus to compensate. If it's more major, like Hazel's 3 missing words, then I'll give you a 10% bonus to compensate. It might be more depending on the circumstances. But do you know what that means? In twow 2, Jacob the person and Edtrin Gaming both had a character missing and fell less than 5% below the threshold. So I'm bringing them back. Do you hear that, Jacob and Ed? Even though you didn't get to compete in twow 3, you can submit a response for twow 4 and onward. While I'm at it, I'll also bring back Marview since the input error was essentially 100%. So I'll give Marview a 100% advantage, sort of. So welcome back, Jacob, Ed, and Mar. So, 642 voters cast 791 votes. It went down again, but that's okay. As long as the votes don't go down as fast as the number of eligible contestants, which they're not, we're totally fine. No entries average percentiles tied, but some did come within 0.002%. Vote counts per entry ranged from a low of 10 to a high of 60. So I gave you this prompt. You are sent to explore Earth's 8th continent, which humanity has somehow only discovered in 2016. Once you arrive, you realize why ancient humans try to keep it secret from modern civilization. And 264 of you responded. With 20 votes, the top response stood out from the rest of the pack at 77.33%. Was it your response? The answer is yes, if you happen to be Sergeant Snivy, with the response, "It had cute cats," which the ancients wanted for themselves. Congrats, Sergeant Snivy, you beat out 263 other competitors with your adorable answer. Here's the rest of the top 20. Astonishingly, Jumatalk scored his 2nd silver medal in a row. Jumatalk is the first contestant to reach the top 5 twice, yet alone the top 2 twice, so good job to you. I like how this prompt could either imply that the 8th continent was really nice or really not nice. Both worked. Ronan, that was actually a really clever pun that works well with the prompt. And Swim, I can see you're up to date on the latest Jack and Jelfie current events. Meaning, like, all 1 of them. Now Jerry76, you wanted me to pronounce this word in my video, but I said I wouldn't unless it hit the top 10, and I was sure I was safe because top 10 is hard to get to, but voters surprise me every time. Hey, I tried my best. Lego TD61 implied Wi-Fi is really important, but FryUAJ suggested that Wi-Fi used to create vines is the exact opposite. 2 budget cut entries reached the top 10 this time. That must be the trick, right? Mention budget cuts and you'll get in the top 10, it seems. Deep Data 1 claimed that the 8th continent is where the ancients hide their porn. I'd like to point out that it's the 2nd most controversial response of the top 10. But what was the most controversial response of all? XX bombs away XX's response. The terrain couldn't grow weed, therefore unsustainable for human life. I guess marijuana is controversial, both in and out of politics. The least controversial response was Harry Odiakosa's Trump and Adolf called in to blow it up in 2017. I think it's interesting that the overall winner is also one of the most agreeable. Okay, so did you survive? Out of the 264 contestants who did twow 3, only the top 211 will survive, and the bottom 53 will be eliminated. Let's see where they all placed. If you're in the red region, you're out. The third Twowian tragedy has taken the lives of another 53 precious Twowers. As their numbers dwindle, each loss is felt more and more intensely. We will never forget. To summarize, here's who's still in and who's eliminated. If you're eliminated, you won't be able to send me any more responses for upcoming TWOW Season 1 prompts. Ranks of eliminated contestants changed a little bit because of Jacob, Ed, and Mar rejoining. If you're still in, that means you've made it to the final 214, past the halfway point. Good job, contestants! You can be certain that at the end of TWOW, you will have beaten more people than people that have beaten you. One interesting thing to note, TWOW 1 had 3 responses that mentioned Trump. TWOW 2 had just 1, by XX Bombs Away XX. What about TWOW 3? 27 people, more than 10%, mentioned Trump. Out of these 27, the average percentile was 46.94%, which is 3 percentage points below the true average. Okay, so to the remaining 211 of you, along with Jacob, Ed, and Mar, you get to participate in TWOW 4. The top 10 Twowers of TWOW 2 gave us these 10 words to work with: juxtaposition, Farsi, aardvark, sunny, snake, awkward, factory, world, dodecahedron, and anti-disestablishmentarianism. Your job? Try to use as many of these words as you can in a coherent response. You can choose which words you want to use. Don't just string out all 10 words, because that sentence makes no sense, and voters will vote it down. But also don't mention 0 words, because that ruins the point of this challenge. Try to find a middle ground, like 2 to 4 words. If you spell these words correctly, I'll highlight them in the voting video, so voters can easily tell how many you used. Try to incorporate these words in a clever, funny, or creative way. You have lots of freedom this time, so use it well. As for the top 10 Twowers of episode 3, you get a 5% bonus, and you can give 3 other contestants who are still in a 5% bonus. In your PM to me, include both your response and list those 3 people you'd like to help out. The prizes for the top 10 Twowers of episode 4 will be announced in the next episode. The submission deadline will be January 31st, 2016 at 10 PM UTC. So contestants, try to foray into the top 10 as we enter TWOW 4A.